Hey everybody, what's going on? We got some news in America today, ladies and gentlemen. We got some news in America today, and I want to talk about it. I want to connect, and this is a very, very important day in this country, and I want to talk about why this is so. I don't know if people have fully understood what this last 4 years has meant. And I this is exciting, guys. It really, really is. I'm actually just making sure that I'm sharing this stuff in my different social media feeds or whatever. So give me a second, and then we're gonna just hop into it. But hit me in the comment section. How you guys feel? Hey, Jocelyn, what's going on? We got a new commander in chief. We got a new president. Wow, 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 and wow. I guys, whew, I felt this way when Obama was elected. Even though it's funny, I have my disagreements with Obama and that sort of thing, but I knew what he represented, and the fact that he could be elected said a lot about this country. And I think the same thing is true about Trump. The fact that he could be elected said a lot. What's up, Ken? What's up, Edward, Christopher, Matt Cleveland, Chris Calderon, Deborah Moore? What's going on, people? Woo, it's a new day. It's a new day in America, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry, I feel like a little kid. I know you guys are excited. I really want to go out and like hit one of these protests down, whatever celebrations downtown or in Chicago. I may get down there at some point, but tears of joy. Hey, Sarah Crowley. Wow, all the way back from 8th grade. How you doing? Good to see you now. Good to connect. Yes, Matt, I got energy today, man. I'm fired up and ready to go. CNN reported this. Pennsylvania. Let me just talk about all this symbolism and all this. I think it's so cool. Number one, Arizona went blue for Joe Biden. I didn't fully officially call it, but we know that Joe Biden is doing well. Arizona lost a Senate seat, and I think that that's probably John McCain up there, ladies and gentlemen, making sure that happened. That's number one. Okay, so you got John McCain still working stuff out. I think RBG is up there doing something too, as well, folks, trying to, it had something to do with this. I'm going to actually give her Philly because Philadelphia is ultimately what came through at the end. And I'm going to give her Philly because Philly really is the birthplace of our American democracy, if you will. And so I'm going to say that she has something to do with that. And then you got John Lewis down in Atlanta, Georgia, folks, in Georgia. So I tell you, man, I think this is an amazing, amazing day. And I want to talk about why. For the last 4 years, we have gone through, it's almost like being someone who has experienced trauma and the victimizer has sort of put it in your face. It's almost like someone who has I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you can describe it any other way. I'm sure you guys may have some ideas in the comments section as well. But that's really what it has been. For every single person who has questioned whether this country was actually for them. For every person that said, yes, on paper, this country is good for me, but it doesn't actually happen in reality. For every person who has seen America in principle, but then been hurt by America in practice, today is your day. There is vindication. We ought to be excited, even if you don't agree with Joe Biden winning and you are a Trump supporter. You should be excited that Biden won because it gives millions of Americans hope again. And it gives millions of people who had felt like this country had not gone anywhere, right? Had not moved anywhere in hundreds of years. It gives them the possibility in their minds that America can be great. That's what this is about. I want to read Kamala Harris's tweet because I think what she said really sums this up very, very well. She just tweeted just a few minutes ago. And CNN jokingly said, you all better learn how to say her name now, Republicans, because she'll be your vice president, which I think is so cool. It's so awesome. Congratulations, Kamala Harris. This election is about so much more than Joe Biden or myself. It is about the soul of America and our willingness to fight for it. We have a lot of work ahead of us. Let's get started. That's what this is about, ladies and gentlemen. As I've said from the beginning of the Trump era, and I actually started coming on doing these videos at the beginning of the Trump era. I remember the first night, the night that he won, I was just depressed. I mean, I'm sure so many other people were. I was doing political commentary on this station, and I mean, we all sat in the room, and you could just see the air come out of the room. Like we were sitting there, and he won, and I mean, it was just like, whoosh, you know. And so what happens is, ladies and gentlemen, is that this is validation for people who have felt like this country has not been there. I'm about to do a Van Jones and start crying. Y'all. I'm serious, man. It's amazing. Okay. Donald Trump represented the worst of America. Dr. King called it the triplets of capitalism, of materialism, militarism, and racism. This is what Dr. King said 50, 60 years ago, folks. That the bully culture of militarism, the capitalist, individualistic, selfish culture of materialism, and the historic and consistent culture of racism would destroy this nation, ladies and gentlemen. And if Donald Trump did not embody those things, I don't know who did. He was the quintessential American bully. And most of our international bullying, guys, it stems from ignorance, which Dr. King talked about as well. And Trump was a manifestation of that also. He was the quintessential example of materialism and the dark side of capitalism, the cheating side of capitalism, the selfish side of capitalism, the immoral side of capitalism. That is what Donald Trump represented. And then last but not least, his racism and xenophobia up until just a few days ago, telling folks, oh my gosh, those people are going to come from the city and destroy your suburbs. What do you think that means? I'm happy he's gone. He can't move out of the White House fast enough for me. I think Jocelyn Santana said that too on her page. I saw that. Can we move him out this week? I'm going to quote Beyonce here, ladies and gentlemen, for a moment. Yes, I'm going to quote Beyonce. Not anything she has said recently around this, but I'm going to quote Beyonce around this question of I did this whole little song thing, right? I did this whole little this little song game on my page. Here's what Beyonce said. Song lyrics. To the left, to the left. Everything you own in a box to the left. In the closet, that's my stuff. Yes, I bought it, please. Don't touch. And keep talking that mess, that's fine. Could you walk and talk at the same time? Come on, somebody. Can you walk and talk? You can walk, you can talk all you want to about how bad things are and how they cheated you and blah, blah, blah. But can you walk and can you talk at the same time? Come on, Beyonce. And it's my name on that jag. It's our name on the White House, people. It's the people's house. It's not Donald Trump's house or the elite's house. It's the people's house. So that's my name on that jag. So remove your bags. Let me call you a cab. We will call you a cab, brother. Although you've moved, you're in New York, so you gotta go down to Florida. We will do whatever we gotta do. Standing in the front yard. Come on, Beyonce. Telling me how I'm such a fool. Is that not what's going on? What he's been doing? Talking about how I never ever find a man like you. Got me twisted. You must not know about me. You must not know about me. I can have another you in a minute. Matter of fact, he'll be here in a minute. Come on, Beyonce. Come on. I can have another you in a minute. Matter of fact, he and she will be here in a minute. Now, listen, I ain't trying to gloat, folks. I'm really not. But I cannot tell you. I want to go to Philly right now. Like, they're out celebrating in Philly. We got to get a Chicago party going on downtown. I'm sure supposed to be down there. I got to get down there and celebrate. Guys, listen to what I'm saying. This is so critical. I posted on my page this morning about how Joe Biden said politics is not about fanning the flames of division, but about solving problems. Aren't you all tired of 4 years of somebody just fueling the flames of division in this country. It is so beautiful to see someone say, hey, let's solve problems together. Joe Biden has been a deal maker for his 40 years in the Senate. Now, listen, listen. I'm going to tell you very clearly. I was not happy about Joe Biden being in the Senate so long. When Barack Obama picked him, I said, that's not hope and change. He's been in the Senate too long, right? Joe Biden was one of the, I think, the youngest person elected to the Senate from the state, if not for the entire Senate. Correct me, somebody, if you want to. But now he's the oldest person being elected president. I think this moment is his. This is his third time running, as we all know, and I would suggest that he was not planning on running. And I think most of it has to do with the death of his son. The last time, but you got to remember, he lost his first family years before that. I mean, this man has experienced pain, and I'm a firm believer spiritually that sometimes God's got to take you down to bring you back up. You understand what I mean? He's got to take you to your lowest point to bring you up and to give you the humility and the character. And I would never wish much of what Joe Biden went through on anyone, but I can tell you, I think he's ready for this moment. I don't necessarily believe that Joe Biden is the savior of, well, maybe he's a savior of America right now. I can't even say that he is, actually. He is. And, he may only serve one term himself, right? I mean, I do actually think he's probably only planning on serving one term. He kind of hinted at that a few months ago on the campaign trail, but he didn't want to, obviously say that out loud. But, however, I think that that's kind of probably what's going to happen, and whatever, right? This is about reclaiming the spirit. He talked about the soul of the country. I'm so happy he got a better campaign strategist to give him that tagline. His first tagline was the No Malarkey Tour. I don't know if you guys caught that back in the day, but I was like, what in the world, right? I mean, anyway, so Joe Biden, a brand new day. Yes, Delisa. Listen, I don't know if y'all like The Wiz, but, I love Michael Jackson. So like that, think about that final scene of The Wiz. Can you feel a brand new day? And people jumping up and down. Everybody look around. It's a reason to rejoice, you see. Don't you understand, guys? This is a great, great day. When I, it was funny because I was watching CNN just a few minutes ago, and they were talking about how in 2016, we kept talking about, you got to listen to the voters who elected Trump. You got to listen to the voters who elected Trump. You got to listen to the voters who elected Trump. Folks, we have to listen to the voters who elected Biden now. We got to recognize that Americans are not okay. As I put the post up a couple of days, I said 70 million people voted for Trump, and they were okay with super spreader events, and they were okay with xenophobia, and they were okay with his sexual abuse, and they were okay with his tax cheating, and they were okay with his admiration and support of dictators around the world, and they were okay with, him bragging about his ancestors taming a continent and calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas and admiring Andrew Jackson, who killed more Native Americans than any president in U.S. history, and that was his favorite president. They were okay with all of these things. Well, I think what today says is that America's not okay with that stuff. They're not. And even with a broken electoral college, folks, we did it. Even with an electoral college that does not live under the principle of really one person, one vote, we still did it. So we're probably going to keep the electoral college, even though I think it's broken, but I don't even want to worry about that today. I'm just happy that America is moving in a new direction. And yes, it's symbolism. In politics, perception is reality. So the symbolism of what Joe Biden means is what matters at this moment. But here's the deal, folks. 70 million people voted to continue Donald Trump's presidency. 70 million people. And to those people, I don't know if any of them are listening right now. They probably would not probably see me and scroll right past in their feeds or whatever, and that's fine. But I will tell you that I believe that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris desire to be president and VP for all of the country. You may not agree with him on everything policy-wise, okay? And that's just the truth. I don't agree with him on everything policy-wise, and I know there are some issues from conservatives they're really angry about around this. I get it. But what you must understand, what we all must understand, is that we only rise together, folks. That all of the millions of people that have been left out of the American economy, have been left out of the American mainstream, they're still Americans too. We can't run from them. We can't create communities that are away from all the problems of the cities, because eventually those problems affect everyone. There were a lot of things that Trump that upset me about Trump. Obviously, even this whining that he's doing around the election, this baby, childish, immature, irresponsible stuff. But one of the things that was most egregious for me, I mean, I could go down a list. I mean, my goodness, I'm popping up all the things, but one of the was most egregious for me was his demonization of cities like Chicago. And the reason why that was so problematic to me was because you and I are together in this. If a child gets killed on the south side of Chicago, that is an American citizen. That child did not create any guns. The people that shot him did not make any guns, nor did they create the conditions under which they live that have fueled the kind of violence that you see. Think about it for a second. I was watching this video earlier today about the number one reason for death around the world. And in Saudi Arabia, the number one reason for death is actually car accidents. And in America, in first world nations, heart disease is number one. Number two is cancer. And number three in America is coronavirus. It's a whole nother issue right now. We've only had this virus for 8 months. It's number three point of death in this country, which we'll talk about, because I think it's very important. But in places like Colombia and Venezuela, the number one source of death is murder through gang violence. And so what you have to understand if you want to fix the issue of crime and poverty is you begin to think in a sociological perspective and go, wait a second, why does Colombia have so much gang violence? Why does Venezuela have so much gang violence? Why does the South Side of Chicago have so much gang violence? Why does East LA have so much gang violence? What is going on? And then you begin to get to the why, so now you can answer the question, how we move forward. But see, if someone's not interested in that, they have no right to be a leader. And that was one of the most immoral parts of the Trump administration to me, was that he would look at cities like Baltimore and go, oh, well, look at Elijah Cummings and those guys. They blew it, the Democrats, blase, blase, blah. And this is your country. Yes, I want to fix the crime in Chicago, but it doesn't come from trying to blame a Democratic mayor for it. It was irresponsible, it was immature, and it was immoral, and he has got to go, and I could not be happier. And I don't wish him any will. We prayed for him when he had the coronavirus. I thought it might humble him out, but it didn't. We prayed for him. I will continue to pray for him. I just pray he doesn't do any more damage to this country. But I will continue. I hope that he finds somewhere to go. I hope that what does not happen is he rile up all these 70 million folks who thought his behavior was okay, who looked at issues like abortion and thought that that would outweigh every other issue in the world, which I think is stupid. And yes, I'm not pro-abortion, but you have to recognize that that one issue, in a way that making it illegal is not the only way you deal with abortion anyway. There are other ways to deal with this, or whatever. But that one issue did not negate all of the other issues of life that we're talking about, and that's what I'm talking about. The other thing that made me mad about the Trump administration, I'm sorry, I got to go through this for a second, but the issue, the way that he responded when folks were protesting, the way he treated the NFL players who protested, the way that he demonized the protesters, but then glorified people who came. This guy that came to Wisconsin started shooting up the protest. His words mattered. His actions mattered. His policies mattered. And ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you this, and I'm a praying person, and we need to be praying, because that thing that he unleashed is still there. That thing that he whipped forward and ignited and threw gasoline on, was already there, by the way, but he threw gas on this hatred. It's still there, folks. And so for my brothers and sisters who live in red states, be careful. Actually, technically, I guess I live in a red state too. I didn't realize that. Chicago technically is an island of blue in a sea of red. Okay, so I guess I live in a red state too, but I live in a blue city. And I hate that it has to come down to that, guys. But honestly, right is right, wrong is wrong, good is good, and evil is evil. And I think we are literally, more than any other time that I've ever seen in American politics, literally choosing between good and evil. If you cannot see the actions of a person who would have events where people were unmasked by the thousands, week after week, day after day, in the middle of a pandemic that's killed 230,000 people, and you don't see that as evil, I don't know what to tell you. I know where your moral compass is. That's evil. There's nothing else to it. There's nothing always needs to do. It's evil. Anytime you can brag about the genocide that occurred in the Native American community for hundreds of years in this country, and then mock somebody who said they have a bit of Native American ancestry and brag about what your ancestors did, that's evil. Anytime you can look and see thousands of kids who are wrestling with the issues of gang violence and bad schools and a poor economy, and your answer to them is to talk about how bad those Democrat cities are, and you've given no solutions, and then you want to play rappers like Ice Cube and folks who go, oh yeah, I'm gonna give a plan for you. That's evil. That's evil. And any person of faith that would follow that, you're following evil. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And once again, do I believe that the Democrats are fully moral? No. But if you weigh it out, maybe I immorally feel like Democrats are immoral on 3 or 4 issues, and what this Republican Trump party has been immoral on is exponentially worse than that. That's how you make your decision. That's what it comes down to. How do you pull out of a climate change agreement? How do you say we don't need to be a part of the Paris climate change agreement? We'll figure it out ourselves. We won't regulate, by the way, which is the Republican ideology. We won't regulate anything, which is really stupid. Because if companies are not regulated, they will kill you. Let me say that again. If companies are not regulated, they will kill you. They have no incentive to keep you alive if they can get away with it. Now, I'm not saying that they're purposely trying to kill you, but I am saying that if their product kills you and there's no regulation on it, then they're going to figure out how to meet their bottom line, because that's the point. I'm sorry I'm getting worked up, y'all, but I'm excited, but I'm also angry because we got a lot of work to do still. We got to get down to Georgia, folks. We have to support those Senate races in Georgia. We have to make sure that those folks in Georgia win that Senate so Mitch McConnell can hop in the same Uber with Donald Trump on the way out of Washington. Well, he wouldn't lead in Washington, but he'd be leaving his seat. Okay? That's majority leader. So, Ford Pinto, thank you, Mr. Crawford. Absolutely. Dean Crawford. Okay, let me hit some of these comments because y'all, got a flood of emotions. But I'm happy. Democracy actually works. Go figure. Well, it kind of works. It kind of works. It kind of works, folks. It works enough right now. We still got work to do. Okay. Let me see what some of the folks in the comment section said. Let's see. Somebody said Michael Jackson. I saw Michael Jackson. Vince Michael is my favorite artist. But I had to quote Beyonce now. You know, Beyonce is the second coming of Mike now. Beyonce, I will support Beyonce. And I had a whole debate with a friend of mine about Beyonce. Like, I always try to say better than Michael Jackson. Beyonce's not better than Michael Jackson. But what Beyonce is carrying the torch, and I respect her for that. And the sister's bad. Okay, she's bad, and so I give her mad props. And Mike is not here anymore, and so you got to give respect where respect is due. That's my statement on Beyonce. All right, boy, bye. I hope you don't forget to lock him up. Yeah, you know what? Listen, guys, I know. See, here we go. Democrats want to be nice. I don't care if Trump gets locked up. I really don't. I mean, I know we probably should. I don't care. I just want him out of our lives. That's all I want. Go back to where you were. Go to Mar-a-Lago. Go just leave us alone. Go make your money. Do your thing. I don't care if you go to jail. I really don't. I don't have the energy for it. What I have the energy for is figuring out how do we stop people dying every day from this coronavirus. I have the energy for figuring out how we keep healthcare for 47 million people and expand it. I have energy for figuring out how we get back into climate change agreements so that we all can live and the whole planet won't blow up, okay? I have interest and energy for figuring out what we can do to create situations where the marginalized will actually economically be on par with other communities in this country, right? So you look at what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have said about student loans and the student loan forgiveness plan. My goodness, whoo, amazing. Amazing if you think about it. And investment in urban communities. Trump talked a lot of stuff about this guys, but he didn't do anything. Even the HBCU plan that he talked about, that he did, he literally went back and cut the teeth, the legs from underneath that program by limiting the amount of funds that people could get for overtly racial entities and programs, HBCUs, and cutting the MAP grant. So those who talk about that, that's foolish, doesn't exist. Let me tell y'all what else, because you're going to hear a lot of this. I need y'all to be ready to go on this stuff. You need to understand how to combat when people come at you with these lies and this bogus mess that's going on. Trump complained that they were not allowing his folks into the polls to count. That's not true. That's been debunked. The news, CNBC had to cut him off in the middle of his press conference the other day, and then basically said he's lying. So we got to stop we have to stop the press conference. And they went through and they cleaned all that up. He talks about how great the economy has been, ladies and gentlemen. Well, the economy started growing after Obama took over, after the tail end of a recession, and the economic growth was continual from Obama through Trump. He just did not mess it up. And actually, the growth shrunk under Trump at a smaller level than it was under Obama. Yes, the economy continued to grow, but it grew at a smaller rate. Now, I don't think that the economy is as quick. It's only about who's in the White House at the time. But I do believe that you cannot take credit for an economy you did not create, that you inherited. So that's a lie too. African-American unemployment. This issue, once again, began under Obama. So the idea of taking credit for it, you didn't do anything. That's literally like me. That's literally like somebody giving my wife a gift and me taking credit for it. Or my kids. I didn't do anything. I didn't buy it. They bought it. I took credit for it. That doesn't work that way. All right, here we go. Brand new day. Oh, happy day. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, Isaac, what's up, bro? How you doing, man? D, what's going on? Georgia is on our mind. Yes, it is. This is what democracy looks like. You are right. Yes, the least worst democracy. Yes, sir. So it's actually been evil, which I agree they've been. Do you buy the Trump supporters' rationalization for continuing to support him? Okay, brother Dr. Davis, we just got off texting each other. Okay, so let me go ahead. And I love the Ford Pinto example, brother Crawford. You were right about that. Ford killing people. I mean, obviously without any kind of regulation. But his question is, do you buy the Trump supporters' rationalization for continuing to support him? Let me break this down, and then this is probably going to be it because I got to go dance around my house. I will take a bike ride or something like that. I'm excited, guys. I'm excited, and I hope you're excited too. So the rationalization for continuing to support him. Here's the rationalization as far as I know it. Okay, I was watching Fox this week too, so I watch stuff. I watch it all. Number one, the argument is that he won the election. That's garbage, so you can forget that, particularly because Pennsylvania came in when Arizona and Nevada, and then potentially Georgia might all go for Biden anyway, so it would be a landslide, so whatever. Okay, that's one thing. The idea that people felt genuinely marginalized and felt like the country they were losing. And let me say this about a couple of issues. There are a couple of things that I think that are valid reasons why people might consider Trump. Number one, trade policy. Number two, religious freedom. Okay. Number two, I'm going to talk about both of those quickly. So number one, the trade policy issue with China. I do believe, once again, I've always said this, a broken clock is right 2 times a day. I do believe that President Trump was right to attack this issue of the trade imbalance that exists in China. I think it's the only issue, maybe, well, one of 2 issues, and I think that he was potentially right on in this while he was president. Now, obviously, there were 40 that I thought he was wrong on. So that rationalization does still exist. That rationale does still exist. Joe Biden was a supporter of NAFTA. However, most of the world has changed since NAFTA. Most people have recognized the downside of NAFTA. Joe Biden has put forth a plan to, in the same way, address the manufacturing job situation. But here's the deal, guys. We can't change the way the economy is unless we either create alternatives or we begin taxing some of these companies who are taking jobs away from the United States. That's one of the things we got to look at. I always talk about this. Amazon, $11 billion last year, no taxes. They've not paid any taxes. Companies that ship jobs overseas to avoid paying American wages ought not to get support back here in America. even if they're American companies. That's very real. Imagine if all of these companies, Walmart and heck, Starbucks and what they manufacture. I think Starbucks is actually doing a little better than some other companies. You could go through Apple. What if they actually brought jobs back here to America? And maybe the United States government gave them some sort of tax incentive in terms of wage subsidies or whatever, but they brought them back. Can you imagine what that would do to this country? Can you imagine what it would do for cities like Gary, Indiana, that was devastated by the steel mills? That would be amazing. So that's the one issue where I think the Trump folks are right to be concerned about, and I hope Joe Biden picks it up. Number two, the religious freedom question. This is a big issue, folks. I am obviously I'm a person of faith. I work in the religious community and do ministry, all this other kind of stuff. And the Equality Act will be coming out very soon. Joe Biden has said that he's going to sign it. One of the organizations I'm working with was adamant about, in the Equality Act, placing some level of protection for religious organizations who might want to, for instance, a Christian school might want to hire people that have a similar faith. Okay. A Christian ministry program might want to put forth some sort of faith-based initiative in terms of behavior and direction for their organization. That is right. And so what I'm hopeful in is that the Equality Act would take into account some of those things. I know I'm working with an organization that's working to make sure that legislation is in the Equality Act. I don't think that it is right to ignore the true convictions of millions of religious people. But I also think that we have to provide equality for the LGBTQ community and public safety and protections against discrimination. And so compromise is the way we do this, folks. We literally sit down at the table, which I think this is the kind of person Joe Biden would be. And I could be wrong. I mean, I hope that is. And you craft a piece of legislation that does provide protections for people, but also has the overarching goal of providing equality for a community that's been marginalized. And I just think that we can do both, folks. I really, really do. And I once again deal in practicality in politics. I don't think it's just an if or either or situation. I think we can do both and. Okay. You two take care, Sarah. Have a great day. Kenny, what's going on, man? We're out in we got California. I know where Sarah lives. I'm sure I don't think you're probably in Indiana anymore, so I actually figure out where you are. We got folks all over the country. We got Virginia in the house, the Wells family. How you guys doing? And well, anyway, so that's it, guys. That's gonna be it for me. Unless you guys have another question or anything like that, I'm gonna roll out because I don't know. If you got something else, I'll say it, but I'm gonna give myself a cap because I'll sit here all day. I don't want to. Make this class will be less than 35 minutes. Okay. Can you imagine how your class was like that? That'd be kind of cool, right? Class is less than 35 minutes. You might show up in class all the time, right? So anyway, guys, it's an amazing, amazing day. We should be hopeful about democracy. Winston Churchill called democracy the worst form of government except for all the other ones that have been tried. Democracy is broken, but today there was a victory. And because there was a victory today, I think that millions of people will feel like this is their country too. And the people who feel who've lost, to speak to them again, this is still your country as well. No one is trying to destroy your suburbs. No one is trying to fill your country up with people who are going to, as Trump talked about this immigrant stuff, whatever. No one is trying to do that. What we're trying to do is to make this country great for all people. And unfortunately, that takes work. And it takes selflessness, not selfishness. And that is the call of the hour. So we celebrate today, guys. We'll celebrate for a couple of days. But then we got to get back to work. So have a great day. Yes, a victory. Thank you, Brother Jonathan Reynolds, Reverend Reynolds. A victory for character and decency. That's what today represented. God bless you guys. It's a new day.